Welcome back to the Wolf of Queen Street podcast series. Welcome back to the audio podcast of the YouTube series. Today, I'm joined by Kim Barrett, the founder of Your Social Voice, a man that is leading the way in the social media world, especially on Facebook, around ads, sales, funnels, anything that you pretty much want to take your business from step level 1 to level 100 in a short period of time and following the right steps. Kim is the man to take you there. I've followed a lot of what Kim's done in the last few months, and fun enough, in our circles of worlds, we keep bumping into people or people on social media that are aware of Kim, have used him before, and are just shouting out his brand about how successful they've become once they've followed his steps. And he's also running a program called the Certified Ballers. Now, anyone that can say they've got a program called the Certified Ballers, I want to hear about them. But anyway, Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
One thing I must say was quite amazing is Kim as well has got his own podcast brand. I know you've had previous ones before, but you pretty much got the Kim Barrett podcast show at the moment and can be found anywhere on a place where you can find a podcast. One thing I actually quite enjoy as well is that he releases his podcast, a full video version, not just on YouTube, but on Facebook as well, which is quite nice. But to anyone in the social media world, I think in the first 5 episodes of this series, you had Grant Cardone as well as Elena Cardone on your show. So let me just take my hat off and go, I don't know how or who you bribed to get both of them on the show in the first 5 episodes of a new series, but congrats on that.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So take us through, obviously you said you're the founder of Your Social Voice. Take us through the business, what it entails, what it fundamentally offers, the listeners at the moment and what they could get from it.
Yeah, cool. So really we have 3 types of clients that come to us. So one is a client who's really successful at what they do and they're looking to try and scale things up. They've run ads before, they've used funnels, which is just really simple websites, if you want to call it that. And they've gotten good results, but either they want to hand it off and get it done externally or they want to accelerate the results that they've gotten. So that's the clients that we do a lot of our done-for-you marketing for. We just take it over. So, you've met some of our done-for-you clients, Francesca, Eric, and I think they've been on the podcast as well, which is awesome. So they're people where we'll just take it off their hands and run it for them. Then we've got clients where they're business owners, they want to improve their marketing, and they want to probably improve their just overall business presence as well. And so we have a mastermind for those types of clients. And then we also have a training program where we do it with people. So we help them install the marketing systems. I bring in my ads managers, copywriters, graphic designers, funnel guys, and we all kind of work together to help people amplify their businesses. So we do it with them, we do it together and help them build their business. And then we've also got our full done for you service where we just take care of all the marketing and advertising side for our clients as well.
That sounds amazing. One thing I wanted to find out, it's something that's coming on along my journey, along my brand at the moment, is to sell products. And to sell products, you've got to do it socially or through a website or through a funnel. 5 years ago, I might be mistaken about it, but 5 years ago, funnels really became the thing, right? 3 to 5 years ago, it came through. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, I've got to buy. Do you still believe, I know it is your point of business, I know you're going to say yes, but do you still believe in today's times where people can see a little bit more through what a funnel actually is, that it is still as effective as it was 3 to 5 years ago when people weren't really understanding how they're getting drawn into the funnel?
Look, yes and no. I think if you're trying to do tactics that worked 5 years ago, of course they're not going to work. We've actually just developed as well a new partnership with one of my business partners where we also now do PR for people. So we help them get featured in Entrepreneur, Forbes, all that sort of cool stuff, which is amazing. And things like that are what you need to bring into a funnel. So not only do you just need to have a funnel, you need to have social proof, you need to have proof and be able to accelerate, the old school know, like, and trust factor. That needs to be able to accelerate it. So if you're just trying to rely on just having a funnel, bringing people in and hoping they're going to buy something or going to register for a call, if you don't have the right offer in there, if you don't have your right positioning around your brand and what it is that you do, you're probably not going to hit the levels of success that you want. It'll work a little bit. Don't get me wrong, like it always does, but you probably won't be able to scale it as hard or as fast as a lot of people want to these days.
So to any of my fans who's listening at the moment, and I know a lot of them out there that aren't in the big social game per se, just to give you an example, a funnel is a website where someone has said, hey, I'm selling a product or I'm part of a brand. They redirect you to a .com, which is fundamentally, it's a sort of It's almost like, 60s parties on LSD. There's a lot of flashing photos and buy now before the deal ends, 24 hours left. And fundamentally, it's sort of to attract your eye and as we say, feed you down the funnel of trying to get you to close off on the deal, to buy a product, pretty much, or to ask for a call at a later stage and try to close the sale afterwards. So just as we're talking about funnel, it gives the people that's outside of the niche or that area a bit of understanding. Now that I've mentioned it, you'll go, oh yeah, I remember that when I went last week and I bought, a new subscription or something. That's majority of the websites. That's the effective websites of the last 3 to 5 years have used funnels and services and so forth. And it was a great point that you said, Kim, like I said, I knew you were going to say, yes, funnels are still working because it's part of your business and your brand. But it was great to hear you say that if you're trying to make something effective today that was effective 5 years ago, it wouldn't work. And I think that is the sort of thing where you can see in the market of where guidance from yourself or business like yourself to say, yes, you can take all the tips and tricks from everyone that was 2 years ago, but you need to know today, literally today or this week, what is effective today, because everything is evolving. Facebook algorithms, Instagram algorithms, and even Google search rules and that sort of stuff. And so how much does that play into it when people come on board and going, I want to keep my brand in this way, and you have to try to knock down that wall and go, sorry, it won't work in how you're trying to sell your niche?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times it comes down to that conversation that you've got to have with clients around it. But most of the time, we're blessed just because of the way that we positioned our brand in the marketplace, that people do understand a little bit about what we do and how we do it. So when they come to us, they're already a bit educated. But really, it's like, it doesn't matter if you're a digital person, if you're on social media, or if you're a mum and pop store who's, sells books or whatever it might be.
Yep.
Books probably a bad example, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you know how to get people interested in what it is that you do, and then you have a way for you to be able to generate sales, customers, clients from that. They're the only two things that are important. All that social media is doing is replacing the TV, the radio, the newspaper, and is bringing it onto an easy to consume platform. Now, for most small business owners, this is what people should be jumping onto. And this is what still frustrates me, is that a lot of people are still going, I don't want to have a social media profile. I don't want to do this. And it's like, well, look, if I told you, if we go back 20 years or 10 years and I said, look, I can give you a TV ad and it's only going to cost you $100, would you do a TV ad for your business? Most people would be like, heck yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, you can run an ad, a video ad, which is equally as effective as a TV ad on Facebook for, you can spend $1 a day if you want, and you can get results. Like you mentioned my podcast. The only reason I put it on Facebook is because I know that I can run video ads to it.
Yep.
So if I run video ads, I can get someone to watch a whole 30-minute episode of my podcast for $1 to $2. That to me is golden. Like if I can pay $1 and someone will sit there and listen to me and my guests talk and go back and forward and have fun, like I'll do that every single day. Like, and I'll spend as many dollars as I can to get my brand out there, my business out there, and build up a reputation for what we do.
Totally agree with that. Now, another question, again, could put you on the spot, and I know, like I said, I'll be pushing it a bit this time too, because there'll be the guys that sit on the left and the guys that sit on the right about this. When a customer comes in or someone comes in, what's your view and your opinion on go organic first and then go sponsorship or boosting, or do you just feel stand up the fundamentals and then boost if you can from day one?
Depends on the business size. And look, I know, I understand when people talk about going organically, but look, I always say you're going to spend time or you're going to spend money. What do you have the most of? If you have an abundance of time, by all means, go organic. But it's harder to actually be able to predict what your business will do. Versus if you go, cool, I've got some money and some time, I'm like, cool, do a bit of organic work. But if you have the money and we can go, cool, I can get you leads interested in your business for X dollars, and you can convert 1 in 10 of them into a customer, is that going to be worth your while? Yes, great. Let's do that, because we know those numbers and we can track and measure them every day. It's very hard to go, cool, let's turn up our organic. Like, sure, you can post more in bits and pieces like that, but you can't really amplify it in a fast fashion. It's like, I'm going to do some work. Some days people may look at it. Some days they might not. Like, I know for myself, like days like today where I've had a busy day, been on podcasts and calls and stuff all day, I haven't looked at my Instagram. So if someone should use their organic Instagram and they want to try and attract me, today is not the day for that. They're not going to get me. But if it's paid, you only pay when people see it. So it's like if no one goes on, they're not going to spend any money. If there's 1,000 people on and you pay per impression, which is per 1,000 people scrolling past it, they have to be on there for you to get charged. So that you're going to get the same outcome, the predictable outcome that you've always been looking for.
Yeah, it is totally a different one because it seems so mainstream at the moment. Obviously, we talk about TikTok as a social platform, the biggest reach organically as well. Then behind that, you would sit with the LinkedIn platform, and it's something I've spoken about previously on quite a few of my guests. So it's a lot of places are having those dilemmas, and especially in the small to medium-sized business and unsure about their specific niches, being able to say, do I go knock organically and everything? And to anyone that's listening, we're not talking about food or fruit organically. We're talking about reach without actually spending any cents on a social platform that reaches out there. So I do like it that you say if you can do a little bit of both. And I do really enjoy as well what you talked about, the reasoning behind you putting a video of your podcast on Facebook. It's something that I haven't even considered myself, because then you can lead into those videos and actually be more beneficial of what you're saying on the videos. And then fundamentally, again, to anyone that's running a podcast, directs people directly to your sponsorships. If you've got a sponsor on the show, so you can show direct correlation to people actually listening to the sponsorship or the segments. Because in our world, and Kim will know it as well, is as much as you get a sponsor, you still got to prove to that sponsor that people are actually coming in the door and actually clicking through to their deal. So if you get a sponsor and says, hey, I'll give you a 20% off discount if you promote me, 6 months later, if no one's even clicked on that 20% discount, I doubt that sponsor is going to come back to you, no matter how many views you believe you're shown to have. You actually got to close some of those sales through sponsorship.
100%. And I think that's the important thing, is like with everything, it's down to measuring and seeing and testing what's working. If something doesn't work, you don't keep doing it. And that's why I love the paid side, because it's easiest to measure. And it's like, yeah, I could go on TikTok and everyone's like, why aren't you on TikTok? And pump out my LinkedIn as well. But to me, it's like, I don't have the time. I can spend 10 minutes and turn my ad budget up so my sales team can have more calls.
Yep.
But then I've got to go create new content, and I've got to go and figure out the platform and see how I best want to use it. It's like, for me, that's like, I'd rather now I'm precious of my time. So I'd rather spend my money than my time in any way, shape or form. Same as like cleaning the house. It's like at the moment, it's like, I would rather not clean my house. I'll pay someone $150 to come clean my house. No. Like, I'd rather do that than spending 2 hours scrubbing my toilets. So, like it's always an opportunity cost in something.
I love that one. I totally agree with that. I'd rather pay someone else to clean the house than do it myself. Not that I clean the house anyway. I'm horrible at it. But yeah, so it is such a dilemma in the social world, and building up in the brand and bringing on the businesses. And like you said, is, if you wanted to tweak it, you could increase in your Facebook side and then bring more people in, and there's content behind that. Now, talk me through, as we said in the beginning of the show, you've got something called the Certified Ballers Live, or the Certified Ballers Program. Yeah. Talk me through it, because that name itself just caught my eye, and I said, man, I want to know how I become a certified baller. It's like standing there with my money gun. Please tell me you go on stage with a money gun and you shoot money into the crowd.
I can't give away all my secrets. Maybe. You'll have to come and find out. But no, so this is the second time we've run it. So Certified Ballers Live is an event. We just literally chose a name, when are we now? Like probably 2 years ago, went to run this event. We ran one in June last year, and we had about 40 people. And then this year we're running it next on the 29th of February and the 1st of March. And then we've got about 150 people. So it's going to be great. It's been a lot of hard work, but it's really about becoming what I call like a baller in your business, which means that you have the time, the freedom, the money to choose and do whatever it is that you want in your business. You're willing to work hard. You know that it's going to be a tough slog, but you're willing to put in the effort. So that to me is what a certified baller is. And that's, I'm bringing together people that I think edify that message. So whether it be like Instagram, LinkedIn experts, mindset experts, sales experts, and bringing in everyone that I know, and pretty much everyone that's coming, I've either learned from, worked with, they've worked with me, I've worked with them, so I know that they're good.
Yep.
And that's why I've put together about 10 people. I think we had one change just a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, one person couldn't come, so we had a new person slot in. But yeah, about 10 people coming in, and then we've got our keynote speaker, who's Mark Boris, who is of The Apprentice fame, Yellow Brick Road, all that sort of stuff. It's it's going to be a really good fun event, and it's been hectic. I don't know if I would do one. I would definitely do another event like my general manager would tell me no. I would definitely do another event like this, but I adjust a lot of the way that we've done things. So it's been a lot of good learnings, a lot of good understandings, a lot of interesting insights to see people who said they'll promote the event.
Yep.
And they can get sales and they didn't get sales, or people that I didn't think would get sales and they did. So it's been very interesting learnings all the way along.
Because, I mean, I know with your event, and I know it's something you spoke about recently on one of your episodes, you did a review of the National Achievers Congress that was held across Australia, done by Success Resources, obviously run by Michael Lane, who's been on the show before, and talked about how that whole upsell or the sell component as part of an event. To anyone that's listening, not sure what we're talking about, is when you go to some corporate events, business events and so forth, when the likes of Grant Cardone, Gary Vee and Tony Robbins even, when they'll be speaking, if it's not a dedicated event just for them all day of 6 hours, 8 hours or 10 hours, as Kim will be able to tell you, if you want to go to Grant Cardone, his 10X is actually in 2 days' time. I think that is $5,000 minimum entry ticket into that event. Tony Robbins, 1 or 2 day programs, again, $5,000 to $10,000. Gary Vee is the same. So when you go into events and these guys actually speak, unfortunately, not unfortunate, but the way the process works to bring them along, the companies that host them usually do have some sales tactics in there. So they'll get underlying speakers to come in, do their speech, sell a product and sell it. And most of the people that when you went to the NOC had really great people as well. Kerwin Ray, Adam Hudson. I love Adam Hudson. He's brilliant and so forth. But one thing that was big, I know that you said with your event is you tell the people straight off the bat going, hey, I'm not charging you $30 to come to my event and therefore have 3 or 4 people having to sell in the event to make it. It's a flat fee because you're not going to be sold at this event other than, as I think you noted, the only thing you're going to be buying is food.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. So and that was like, I always prefer to do that, but also like we're actually contractually obliged because of Mark Boris. It's like we can't sell anything anyway. Mm-hmm. So we didn't plan to. So yeah, there'll be no sales pitches, but it also for our speakers. And look, a lot of them I did have to twist their arm because a lot of them do normally charge for keynotes, and most of them are out of their goodness of their heart. A few I had to pay to get along, but. For all of them, it's like, cool. Then all they have to focus on is giving value. They don't have to focus on
closing the sale,
sale and all that sort of stuff and seeding all this. They can just come and deliver value. Because for me, I know if I was an attendee, which I always look at an event from my perspective, like when I go to events, I will still get value, and I got great value from the NAC, and just ideas and whatnot. But I know that if I can sit there and have that for 2 days and just get value after value, speaker after speaker, that will be something that I would rave about. And that's our only goal with this event. Like we won't make any front end profit, because any of our profit, we also have a portion going to a charitable cause, which is Happiness Co. So anything that we do make is pretty much going all to them. So it's a break even event for us, which I'm kind of happy to do, and I'm happy to facilitate that. Being that I know that everyone that comes is gonna rave about it, because I'd even throw down in Australia, but definitely in Western Australia, there hasn't been an event this big for some time.
And that's the big thing that people forget about these days, in the sense of building up a brand and going, how much value there is into if I give you, or how much importance is if I actually give you real, honest value and improvement, so you can take it away and, and give it almost not free, but give it away in sense going, hey, come to the event, from a brand point of view, we're not going to make anything. We're not going to get rich off anything. We're going to give you all this value because you understand that in a month's time, or in 3 months' time, or in 6 months' time, those people, when they finally close something, or they're going to finally start something they've been thinking about, they're going to come back to Kim and go, hey, I remember that situation where you spoke about how we're going to run those ads on Facebook, or how you're going to set up the funnels, and come back to it. And it's just giving people value that they'll come back to it. And one of the famous ones and very big plays in that is obviously Gary Vee, and how he does his brand is he gives everything away, and sometimes he even gives money away by his wine, obviously wine library, and so forth, or he sends big ticket items to people because he knows that hopefully 3 months or 6 months or 9 months down the line, someone's going to come and close a deal with him, and a larger deal. And 9 out of 10 times he's proven that point.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it. You've got to always lead with value. And look, there's also I'm not shy of making money and making sales either. Like if we change a few things in the event, it would have been dramatically different and we would have had a much larger profitability on it. But because it's the first one we've run, the first one where we brought in a big keynote speaker, normally, like last time when we first ran, it was just me for a whole day. And this time I've just gone, well, look, I want to bring and expose more people out there and also leverage and bring everyone together. So it's an experience for us, and we've done plenty of things good and plenty of things that we learn from. So but it's going to be great fun. Like I'm really excited for it. We've also got, though, 3 days before that, we're running our mastermind with our other clients. Then we have 1 day rest where I just pass out, and then we go into 2 days of certified ballers live. So it's going to be good fun.
So your mastermind, is that your mogul program?
So we have our mogul system, and then we have our mogul mastermind, which is our 12-month program, and then our other one is a 90-day program.
And what's fundamental to are you offering people in those mastermind programs, or just to take them through some basic, if anyone sounds interested in what you're offering in your obviously your 12-month and your 90-day program?
So basically, both include going through our 90-day program, which is really developing marketing systems to put into their business. Now, there's a lot of programs you can just watch and learn, and I find for me that most of the time that I've ever got the best feedback and outcome is being able to ask people questions, feedback and advice. So our mogul system runs over 12 weeks where we have several calls per week where I bring in myself, my copywriter, my funnel guys, my graphic designers, my ads managers, and we have specific calls based on going, cool, let's look at your funnels, let's look at your copy, let's look at your ads. And we fix, we tweak, we optimize on a group call together. And then we review that the following week. So there's 12 weeks of not only content and information, but also action taking and getting live feedback from people that do this every day across accounts where, we spend up to, probably in some of the accounts that we manage in total, we manage over $1 million in ad spend per month across all of the accounts that we oversee. So it's pretty hectic, but we get a lot of learning from that, which we then feed down into those businesses who are still in the growth phases. And then our 12-month program is every 90 days we come together, we find out what's working, what's not, we optimize what's the business processes, and I bring in experts that I know as well. For example, my business partner who's branding PR, they're coming in next week. They're coming in to really optimize and improve everyone's branding, PR, help them out with that, give them some training, and help them bring 2020 into full swing for them as well.
One thing what's quite cool that you do on social media, and anyone that's not following can go take a look, is Kim will normally post up sort of the numbers. Like you said, you love the numbers about people doing the ad spend, and sometimes there's a post and be like, hey, this customer spent, some of the customers are spending quite large amounts, but it'll be like the customer spending 100 grand, but the next line is the customer's also just made 300 grand. So it's like, hey, they, and it's quite cool. I like looking at going, this customer spent $100 and they've gotten 500 from it. So you can see this sort of with every give or take, there's always a sort of a comeback with it. Doesn't matter if your budget's $5 or your budget's $500,000. With the effective system and the right stuff into place, it's always going to come back and evolve, and you always get your money back and more with an effective ads in Facebook.
Yeah, 100%.
So also, as you know, you're going into your events at the moment at the end of the month. You're obviously your certified ballers, your mogul program, as you spoke about most of the stuff you're doing with the ads and funnels. What is sort of the biggest thing at the moment in this space that you can leave the listeners with, not leave the listeners with, but sort of guide them through the process? Because it's, like I said, there's so much under this umbrella. Other than coming to a consultant like yourself or company like yourself, what is the sort of one or two things that you can say, guys, hey, step back, follow these couple of steps, and then come knock on my door?
Yeah, I mean, the framework that we use for everything is called the NOC method. So this is a method that we've developed over the past several years to really help people. So the NOC stands for niche, offer, and copy. So if you're going to create, and it doesn't matter if you're doing it on social media, if you're doing a billboard, if you're doing radio, anything. Obviously, I recommend using social media, but when you go to look at it, if you identify what your niche is, so the market that you serve, if you identify the right offer, not necessarily being like, cool, I sell X widgets for $100, but being like, here's what I'm offering you to either entice you to come to my website or to entice you to leave your details so I can reach out to you, what the offer is, and then C is the copy, which is how do you articulate it? They call it salesmanship in print, right? So how do you encourage people to take action by just using words? So the NOC, those three little things, niche, offer, and copy, if you can get all three of them working, that's going to be a successful campaign on any mechanism, any method. Like, doesn't really matter if you go, as I said, TV, radio, etc. Like if you have that lined up, you will have success. So I always recommend people, like I can actually set I'll ask you and see what you reckon. How fast do you reckon you can set up? Like if you were to set up a Facebook ad from start to finish, how long do you reckon that takes?
Well, this is a funny thing because the Facebook ad, you can go to a post right now, boost it, put $5 and boost with like 5 people in New Zealand, right? So you could do an ad in 5 seconds or 10 seconds. An effective ad, I would say, it'd likely take a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so my best time is 2 minutes 33 whilst I was like explaining it to people as I was walking through it, right? But the reason why I say that is not to kind of show off or to be like, oh, it's really simple. It's because before that, we've spent 1, 2, 3 hours going through and identifying the niche, the offer, articulating it to people, the actual setup part. If you can follow instructions and you can left click and you can right click, you can basically set up an ad. But that's not the hard part. The hard part is identifying the niche, the offer, and the copy, and actually massaging that out, going through the right frameworks and identifying it. So if you can spend time, and I always recommend that people don't go on Facebook to set up your ad, write it all out beforehand in Word and notes, something like that. Identify what sort of image you want to use. Do all that work before you even go on the internet, before you even connect Wi-Fi. If you do that and you do that right, you're going to be set up for success. The only time I see people fail is they just jump on and chuck something up and they hope that it sticks. And it's like, well, hang on. If you were running a TV ad, if we go back to that analogy, you would be making sure that everything is perfect. The scripts are perfect. What the people are going to say is perfect. The imagery is perfect. Your phone number is the right phone number. You wouldn't just chuck it up. But people seem to, for some reason, think that because Facebook ads are easy, you can set one up in 2 minutes. I'm just going to chuck it up and see what happens. And my big encouragement to everyone is don't do that. Focus on identifying that NOC, that niche, offer, and copy. Then you will have success with it. But if you don't do that, you're going to struggle when it comes to Facebook ads, and you're going to not really understand why they work or why they don't work.
That's great insight. I must say, I've had mostly not the greatest experience with Facebook ads because, funny enough, on the mobile version, you can go and you push boost, you pick your budget, you pick your country and a sub niche, and you go. But if you actually run in your ads through Facebook, your actual ads account that sits behind it, it gives you so much more categories, so much more areas that you can pick. And Kim would know exactly what I'm talking about. It's literally a database or a system that runs your ads, which links into Facebook. So it's not as simple as, hey, I want to boost this post, I want to send it to Australia, to people 25 to 35 in entrepreneurship niche. There's so much subsets within that. And that's where the stuff that a lot of people don't realize. So they put it in and go, hey, why am I not getting engagement? Why am I not closing anyone? Why is not anyone even comment on my post? It's been seen 10,000 times, but I've gotten 5 likes from it, and stuff. So it's a hard one without knowing that there's actually a full system behind that. Google Ads is exactly the same, YouTube, the same sort of stuff, that there's full systems behind that. And then understanding as well that it depends how much money you're willing to spend to how much, what your click per mile is, because you're always competing as well. So if I want mine to be seen above someone else's, sometimes you're going to have to be willing to pay more. Otherwise, it's not going to be seen at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was great, I think, in the sense of what you said to people to the NOC, the 3 steps, understanding that, putting that into place. And then, if you got that into place and still struggling, or through the process, by all means, come knock on your guys' door. But yeah, I definitely think that's something for people to be aware to that. Outside of that, at the moment, is anything else big coming up on the brand? Something new that you guys are offering, or something that's changing in the social world?
I mean, the big changes for Facebook, especially, and Instagram, etc., like the Facebook suite of companies, will probably come out in the next month or 2 after they do their developer conference. That's when you normally get the biggest updates. So I would say to everyone, it's like, if you're looking for what's kind of new and what's going to be next, hold tight for about 1-2 months, and then I always do a breakdown once the F8 goes anyway, and I kind of rip out all the important stuff. So that's where all that new stuff is going to be coming out. On our side, like I said, we've just launched a PR and media company as well with our business partners who live over in Bali. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we'll be talking about more into leveraging PR, media. Like as you said, from when we launched our podcast in after 4 or 5 episodes as well, we also were able to get listed in the top 20 podcasts for 2020, which means that our numbers skyrocketed. We shot up in the charts and all that sort of stuff. And that was only through leveraging PR, media, and being able to articulate and write out really well what we do, and then connect with the right people. So that's important for us this year.
Yeah, you know, totally. I understand that whole getting top 20 ranked. I had a situation that was the end part of the year where I outranked Gary Vee in the entrepreneurship podcast in the Philippines. I outranked him for 7 days. And let me just say that week was pretty crazy in the social brand sort of things and the views and everything. But it just shows that just sort of one moment, one step up and put you up into that next level, what it does for your brand. Let's say it was hard after 7 days to try and keep up that momentum because obviously he produces 50 pieces of content a day and podcasts every other day. But yeah, so it is always interesting when you've done something right and you get that opportunity that all of a sudden the flux that comes into your brand. And it's something I always say to a lot of people is no matter what you're doing, do everything right from the beginning, because when that light bulb happens or that big moment does happen and you're not prepared for it, or you don't have your brand isn't strong enough, that is when you're going to be found wanting. So if you don't have your product to sell, so it's like going on to an event. So you can imagine this, Kim, imagine going on to an event at NAC and you're having a massive keynote, but you've got no product. Even if you're not selling the product, you've got no product at home. Because everyone's going to go, great, what's he about? Let's find out. And he's got nothing standing there. Be prepared. Make sure you're following the right rule sets so that when that moment does come down the path, you won't be found wanting.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Anyway, Kim, it's been half an hour at the moment already on the podcast. I think we've covered so much insights in the social brands and the funnels and what you guys are offering over the next few weeks. And I hope my listeners enjoy that, especially, the Certified Baller program, your Mogul program, and so forth. Can you just let the listeners know where they can find you socially and all your handles?
Yeah, the best way is on Instagram. Is where I am most of the time. So at Real Kim Barrett on there, and you can find me on Facebook too, /Mr. Kim Barrett. On there's my business profile, and and then yoursocialvoice.com.au, kimbarrett.com.au as well if you want to connect with us and see more about what we do on our websites.
That's awesome, Kim, and thank you so much for the time for coming on the show today and talking about the business and what you guys are offering. To anyone that is listening at the moment, like I said, I know some of the customers that Kim's got on it as close friends. I know people that have used the program and the program is offering and the insights. If you want to take your business, as I said in the beginning, from 1 to 100 and follow a basic step in the right guidance, Kim and the business, your Social Void is the right place to go knock on the doors, and him and his team will help you out. But anyway else, to everyone that's joined us today on the podcast series, on the audio podcast, the video series, thank you for coming over. And as I always say, I don't charge anything. I don't ask for anything, but pretty much if you enjoyed the show, just tell one other person to come on board and have a listen so you can hear the stories and the insights from our entrepreneurs that are giving away all their pretty much trade secrets. But at the end of the day, have a beautiful and powerful day, and chat to you later.